Hi guys, so let's start with this lab, evaluate generative AI model performance. So for this, first we have to create a Azure AI Foundry hub and project. So we have already created that, so we do not need to create it. Then we will deploy GPT-4o mini, right, model to evaluate the performance. So we have already deployed that also. So we don't need to do that again. And then we will manually evaluate a model. So for manually evaluating, first we have to download this data.jsonl. So I have already downloaded it from this link. You can download it. So like this, you can copy this, you can save this, right? But just it will save it as a text file, and you can change the extension to .jsonl, right? JSON lines, right? So JSON line basically means that every line will represent one JSON object. So that is the data, right? So let me show you this data, how it looks. So these are the JSON lines data. So in first you have a question key in which you are telling the question, and then you have the expected response, and then this expected response is very large, right? This is very large, but we have only set up 5 questions and the responses, expected responses. So yeah, this is good. Now afterwards, this what we have to do, we have to go to our Azure AI Foundry portal, and we have to go to protect and govern. So in protect and govern, we have this evaluation. So let's click on this evaluation. So let's see. So this evaluation, it has given us a different panes: automated evaluation, AI red teaming, manual evaluation, and evaluator library. So first of all, we will go to manual evaluation, and in manual evaluation, create a manual evaluation with test dataset to see performance of your model. So here we will click on new manual evaluation. So now, yes, so here is a system message, and we have to import our test data, right? So we will click on import test data. So upload dataset, choose a file to upload from your local drive, or choose existing dataset, right? So we will upload dataset. So we will upload the file. So here in the downloads folder, we have this training evaluation data.jsonl. So it's getting uploaded. So it's uploaded, right? Next, we have to map our data. So it's loading. Let's see here what we have to do. So we have to go to the protect and govern section, then evaluation, create a new evaluation pane opens automatically. Go to manual evaluation, select new manual evaluation configuration section. In model list, select GPT-4o model and system message, right? So yeah, for input we will give question, and for expected response we will get expected response. So as you can see, one of our keys are input. The one of our key is question, and another key is expected response. So that's why we are giving um, question in input and expected response in expected response. So let's copy it from here only. So question control C, right? So we have a question and expected response. So this is a preview of our data, right? Yeah, this is okay. So for input, we will use question string. So it's already there. And for output, we will use expected response, right? For expected response, we will use expected response. The response to question generated by model as an answer, right? This is the response to the question generated by model as answer, and this is a query seeking specific information. So we will just add it, right? And it has added it, and we can see here that you know what documents are required for international, and it is also for international. This is the response. This is for international travel, right? And this is the response, which is a very long response, right? So we have So in the configuration section, we have to select our model. So yeah, so GPT-4 Mini Lab 1, this is the exact model that we wanted, right? And then in system message, we have to change this and make it a travel agent, right? So assist users with travel related inquiries and knowledgeable travel agent, right? So let's paste here this, and afterwards, what we have to do, review the question and expected answer in the test file you will use to evaluate the response that model generates. So yes, for this we should know like what kind of responses are these. So if we go here, we should know like what is the response, right? So that we can compare it with the generated response. So now let's see. Select run from top bar to generate output for all questions you added as inputs. After a few minutes, response from model should be shown in new output column like this. So yeah, so we can click on run here. So it will run each of the model response for all of the 5 questions, but I will just run it for this only. So now it will generate the output and we can compare it. So data rated thumbs up, thumbs down, right? So let's see whether this response is the same as this or is it very different. So review the output for each question, comparing the output from model to the expected answer, and scoring the results by selecting thumbs up or thumbs down icon at the bottom right of each response, right? As yeah, sorry about that. So now for the manual evaluation, you can see the expected response and the output. So if we try to compare it, so while planning for international travel, you should look for, one second, passport, visa, travel insurance, flight itinerary. So passport is okay, yeah, visa is also okay, flight tickets, right, flight itinerary. So keeps a copy of a flight, okay, one second. So yeah, you can see that we are having problems in comparing this because this is like this and this is like this. Maybe we could do this way. This will help. Yeah. So I will move it to this, right? So now passport is okay. Visa, right? Travel insurance. So it mentions travel insurance. I think we did not mention in the this response. Flight itinerary, right? Accommodation results, health documentation. So it hasn't mentioned health documentation in this. Driver's license. It has not mentioned driver license here also. So travel itinerary, it has mentioned flight itinerary. So vaccination records, I don't think we have vaccination records here. uh, Driving license, okay. So you can see some of it is okay, some of it is not okay. We can compare it and we can give a thumbs up or thumbs down to this. So I will give a thumbs down to this because I think some of it is missing. However, I need to thoroughly check this, but for the time, so you can see I give a thumbs down, so it is 1 out of 5, 20%, and thumbs up, so data rated is also like 20%. So it's how much of this is rated, right? So I'm not going to do it for all, but yes, the objective of this is to do it for all in once and save time, right? So what we can do is we can save the results. So let's save the results to, let's say, result 1, and we will save the results, right? So it's right now saving the results. So our results are now saved. So yeah, the session was successfully saved. And now let's move to another automated evaluation. So while manually comparing model output, your expected output can be useful, right? It's very time consuming process. Yeah, this is a very time consuming approach. Seeing it one by one and reading this all and then reading this and then comparing which is good, which is bad, that is very time consuming, right? Scenarios where you expect a wide range of question responses. So this is not good This manual evaluation is not good if you have like thousands of question and responses, or like even hundreds, right? It's very time consuming. It provides a little way of standardizing metrics that you can use to compare different model and prompt combinations. So there is no standardized metric, right? We are just comparing one by one. So instead of manual evaluations, what we can do is we can go back to evaluation page and go to automated evaluation. So right now we are in manual evaluation, so we have to go back from this button, right? And you can say that we save the results of the manual evaluation. So these are the results of the manual evaluation, right? If we click on it, so it will basically load the same thing again. So that is saved, right? We do not have to run the models again and do the everything again, right? So that is saved. So the next is basically automated evaluations. So if we click on automated evaluations now, so yeah, so there is an option for create new evaluation and everything like that, performance and quality check, and risk and safety check, right? So let's see what is the next. Create a new evaluation and select the option to evaluate a model and select next. So let's click on create new evaluation, right? And then we configure test data, evaluate an existing query response data set or evaluate a model. So right, so we have to select between these two. So we will click on evaluate a model and then we will click on next, right? Then it's asking us configure data source, generate sample question using a GPT model or select your existing evaluation data set. So it's asking how do you want to configure your test data set? Do you want to generate the questions by using a GPT model, or do you have a data set which you want to upload, right? So we will select data source page, use your data set, and select travel evaluation data set JSON Excel, right? So it's telling, like, the instructions are telling me to use your data set, and then we will use our data set. So we have this two data sets here, trail evaluation, so we have to select this one, right? So this is our initial data set. So this one is not the initial, uh, this is the initial, right? What documents are required for international, and this 0 1 2. And if we talk about this is just the first one, right? So we have to upload this one. So it has having 0 1 2, right? Or we can also upload a new data set here. So after that, what we have to do, file you upload previously, select next. So then we can select next, okay? So after this, let's click on next, right? And now what we have to do, we have to select our model. So this model is the correct model, right? And then here we have to uh, put a system prompt. So test your model with GPT-4o mini, right? And then the system message to the same instruction. So let's copy the same system message here, right? And afterwards, what we have to do, for the query field, select item dot question, right? So we know that our data set will have this query field, and for the query field we have to select item dot question, because this is where the query is. So this is the query, item dot question, and these are basically the expected responses. And the next thing is select next to move to the next page. So we have to select next to move to the next page. So now it's asking configure evaluators. So test criteria. Choose what you want to evaluate: quality, risk, safety, and more. So let's see what we will do in configure evaluators. So we have to click on plus add button, and then the model scorer, we have to select the criteria name like semantic similarity preset, grade with GPT-4o model, and user settings at the bottom, output and ground truth. So let's go with these one by one. So if we click on add, right, so there are a lot of AI quality and safety and ethical content, right? So let's choose which evaluator we want. So let's see each one of these briefly, right? So model labeler, right? So what model labeler does it classify response into categories. So that is what we mean by labeling, right? So it classify responses into categories like pass or fail using models like include criteria match, sentiment analysis, Q and grader, classification placed, custom graders. So it basically classify the responses into some category. So that is what we mean by model labeler. So it could be more like a classification kind of thing, right? So if model scorer, we can draw parallels to this to numeric kind of thing, like regression kind of thing, right? But no, so in model scorer, what it sees, it gives numeric scores to the quality of the response. So it gives a numeric score in to the quality of response, where in model labeler, it gives categories. So those are not numeric score; those are like classes, right? So that is the difference between this model labeler and model scorer. Assigns numeric score to response based on quality. And then there are Likert scale evaluator. So it basically uses scale from 1 to 5 to assess the quality, relevance, and fluence, including groundedness, pro, relevance, coherence, fluency, and similarity. So it gives a number between 1 to 5, and for each of the criteria like quality, relevance, or fluence, right? So this is Likert scale evaluator. So these are for the AI quality, and this is for string check. So it basically checks for exact or partial matches against reference text. So if you want strict keyword based validator, so string check is good for that. Then text similarity. So it basically uses those NLP metrics like F1, BLU, Metro, Row, fuzzy match, right? It measures the overlap between the uh, generated response and the ground truth response, right? Then these are ethical, safe, and ethical content. Ensure safe and ethical content, right? So for that, we can have these ethical things like, there should not be a violent content. So measures the predisposition of generative AI application towards producing violent content, right? Then producing hateful and unfair content, sexual content, self-harm related content like suicide, right? Those kind of contents. So protected material is whether the response is giving some protected information like SIN number or like those kind of things, right? For SIN number, credit card information, those kind of information, whether the model is giving that. So that comes under protected material. Also, maybe email can also come under protected material, right? Then indirect attack is basically the malicious attacks. So this is for this one. So now let's see what is the next step. So we have to go to model explorer and we have to choose the criteria semantic similarity. And then we will choose to grade it with GPT-4o model and then the user settings. So let's try these one by one. So we have total 4 of these and with different criterias. So let's try first model scorer and we will name the criteria name. Okay, so criteria name auto grader, semantic similarity or custom grader. So we will select semantic similarity, right? So auto grader, this system we have created a consumer facing evolves product to this things to consider. So they have basically given all of the things that we need to consider here, right? So let's read this for in brief. So yes, so as we can see with AutoGrader, so let's first understand AutoGrader. So it is nothing, it's just a system prompt. So this is our system prompt and this will be our actual prompt, right? So in system prompt, we are specifying everything that this language model needs to know, right? To basically assess, to evaluate everything. So it's telling things to consider, secondary labels, steps to predict major error, minor errors, right? And then here it's saying everything that it has to do. It's saying that you have to give a numeric quality score as a string in the inclusive range 1 to 7. So between 1 to 7 you have to give a numeric quality score to the response, right? It is also saying only use 6.5 and 7 if answer is truly mind-blowing and you don't see how it could have been not improved, right? So this is basically giving a float number. You see, result is a float, and the float score is like derived from the reasoning. So all of these steps are telling what to do, and then this step is telling basically you have to give a score, quality score to the response, and then this is basically user's input. So item dot input and sample dot output dot text, and then here it is what kind of range we want, right? And what is the passing grade, what is the not passing grade, and then all of this can be modified also, right? So this is the auto grader. Then will have a semantic similarity. In semantic similarity also there is this system prompt which is telling what to do, and it is telling 1 is not similar, 5 is highly similar, 4 is somewhat similar, and based on that it will give a similarity score. So similarity score between the response and the ground truth, right? So for that it is right now giving output and the ground truth. So for output it is sample.output.txt. For ground truth this is item.groundTruth, right? So what we have to change here, so for output, user settings at the bottom, for output we have to use sample.output.text, and for ground truth we have to use item.expected response. So here for ground truth we will change this to expected response, item.expected response, because that is the one thing. Okay, uh, expected response with two curly braces. So right, so yeah, this is the thing we have considered, and now we will basically add this. So let's add for custom grader also. For custom grader you will provide the system prompt and you will do everything like provide the range and passing grade. But for the semantic similarity and auto grader it is already written a system prompt. So item.ground, okay, again, so expected response, and then we will add this. So we have added this, right? So now we will add one more evaluation, and this will be based on Likert scale evaluator. So when we click on Likert scale evaluator, then also there are like different criteria names. So we will pick relevance in this case, right? And grade it with GPT-4o model. So we will pick relevance, right? And then we will grade with GPT-4o model. And here the query will be in item.question, right? So this is the prompt. So let's see what is the prompt. So as we can see here in the prompt, there is an instruction, goal, user ratings, right? And it's then giving examples, like it's giving the definition of relevance and then telling that this is a example and response. Then for incorrect response, giving the definition, incomplete response, complete response, comprehensive response with insights. So it is giving lot of query response kind of examples. Then it is telling what is your task. Then it's telling the score you must give must be integer score, and based on levels of definitions, right? What is the level of definition? So this is the basically the system prompt that we are giving. And not only that, it is also having the query and response. So this will be our data. So in query and response we are having this item dot question, so we have to specify the query. So our query is in item dot question. So let's add this also. So why we are saying item dot question, because here in our data set there is a question, right? So the next is text similarity. So it is select the F1 score. So let's go for text similarity, right? And here we will click on F1 score. Okay, so our criteria is selected as F1 score. So it is asking for ground truth, and that is in our items dot expected response. So it's measure the similarity between shared tokens between generated text and ground truth, focusing on both precision and recall. So there are other scores also like blue score, glue score. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right, but yeah, glue score, meteor score, rog score, right? So let's see here, blue score. So score basically focuses more on precision and indirectly on recall. Then glue score is one which addresses the drawbacks of blue, right? And it focuses both on precision and recall. Then meteor score, it also is focused on both precision and recall, and it also addresses the limitation of blue score by considering synonyms, stemming, and paraphrasing for content alignment. And then rogue score, it focuses more on recall, and yeah, for referencing summaries it's very good, right? So for rogue we also have this rogue L 3 2 1, right? So it's basically the n-grams we are selecting, like 3 4 L, right? So that is also the case here. So we will select F1 score, and we will ground truth will be in our expected response, and we will add it. So let's add it. So it's not letting me add it. One second. Let's go back. Go to string check, and like not the string check. We have to go to textual similarity, and then select F1 score, and then click on add, right? Then next we have to add is hateful and unfair content. For that we will go here, hateful and unfair content. So criteria name is this, and then we have to select the query. So our query is an item.question, and then we will select add. So we have selected our evaluators, so semantic similarity, relevance, F1 score, and hateful and unfairness, right? So for all of this we will evaluate. So now let's click on next, right? So now we have to give our evaluation a name, right? So let's verify all these details. Let's give the evaluation name as Lab-8 evaluation. So Lab-8 evaluation, right? This is our test data. So yeah, our test data is okay. This is our test data, right? And yeah, right now we don't have any scores or everything populated here. Then which model we want to use? We want to use GPT-4o Mini Lab 1. Yeah, this is the model. And then these are the test criterias. And then we will click on submit and wait for our model to do everything, to do evaluation for us, right? So now let's wait. Yeah. So our status is queued. When it will be successful, then we will see, right? So our evaluated model is this, max tokens is this, temperature and top P is also this, system message is given here, and this is the data set. So let's wait for some time. So we can see that we have our evaluation results. So this is our evaluation Lab-8 evaluation, right? So it's completed, and this was the data set used, right? The evaluation model was this. So evaluation model was used in AI assisted. So this is a metric dashboard. So in AI assisted evaluation, like in which we use our GPT model specifically, so it is 100% passed, 5 out of 5 passed, right? So the next is AI quality. So in AI quality also, it is based on the NLP, AI quality based on the NLP. So in this, we are not using our model, right? We are using the NLP, natural language processing. So we were using F1 score, and this is also 100% passed. And then risk and safety preview, that is also 100% passed. So hate and unfairness, there were no responses which were having hate or unfairness, right? It's also giving the test criteria here. Also in AI quality, we selected the relevance, so this is also 100% pass. So this is very nutshell, like which one is AI assisted, which one was NLP, and which was on risk and safety, right? So now let's go into details. So here we have the details. So what was this is the expected input, right? The expected results, and these are the generated results, generated response, and these are the expected responses. You can, if you hover it, you can get all of this, right? And if you hover on this This is the generated responses. This is the questions, right? And these are the pass. So this is for the first test, it is passed, right? So what was our first test? Our first test was, okay, we could see what was our first test. Okay, we will see it in the different one. Then the relevance is also, result is also passed. Then it also gives the relevance reason. So the relevance reason is the response thoroughly addressed query by listing essential documents. It provides detailed explanation for each item, comprehensive, informative. So for each response, it has also not only given the score, but it had also given the relevance, reason. Then the F1 score, it's also passed, and then heat and unfairness, this is also passed. Then it is giving the reason also. Documents required for international does not contain any offensive language, negative sentiment. Content is purely informative and neutral, right? So this is also giving the reason for it. So this is a detailed view of this. This was very summarized view here, right? And then if you want more detailed view, then we can go to logs, right? And here we have instant result.jsonl, right? So here I have used the word wrap. So here is the input question. Then there is the input expected response. So this is our expected response. And then there will be input generated response. So the response generated by the LLM. And then there is, this is our relevance score. So it gave 5 as relevance score, right? Then GPT relevance score. So GPT relevance score is also 5. Then the relevance reason. So this is the reason for the relevance. Then the relevance result pass. Then relevance threshold was 3. So that is why it is passed, because it is 5 is above 3, right? Then F1 score, it is 0.567, right? So F1 score is also pass because threshold was 0.5, but the score is 0.56, so it is more than 0.5. For hate and unfairness, it is very low, so there was no hate or unfair content, right? So score is 0. So 0 means there was nothing like that. So reason is also given, and then threshold was 3. So if it is, above 3, then it will be, fail, but it is passed because of that. Then again for the another input, so you can see we are getting here the more detailed view, and you can also download all of these. Even in the data, you can export the result here, right? Let's click on export result. So we have the CSV. So if we click on the CSV, right, Microsoft Excel, we can basically do this in long version also, right? Past, so past, relevance score, this kind of all thing we can, it is more easy to navigate. So yeah, don't save. So yeah, this is all about the evaluation results and evaluation, and we are done with our lab. And then we have to just download and open text document to see okay, so this is the different thing. Yeah, so we are done with our lab. Yeah.